Hey guys, all right. So my second video. So the other thing that I've been doing, uh, particularly for the last few months, that I think's been really helpful is this this program that I've been a part of called Neuro Gym, and I it's an absolutely transformational, and I think that one of the reasons why it's been so good for me is because I think the thing about what we go through, and I could spend hours talking about this. I'm going to try to condense it as much as I can. But I think the thing that a lot of us tend to miss is we understand that we are needing to recover emotionally and that we need to recover on a spiritual level too from like our trauma and that we're trying to use those kinds of things. The thing that I absolutely love about like NeuroGym and I think any kind of program like them is that they talk about like the neurological effects that happen to us. And I think that because something that I've really wanted to get into is more of the science behind trauma, like and not just the behind trauma, but like, why do we keep perpetuating it? Why is it that like people who even sometimes go through like physical abuse can recover so much better than people who go through emotional abuse, or things like that? And what I have really learned from NeuroGym has been that was more about the brain and how the brain works and how the brain operates and how the brain can heal and recover because the brain wants to heal and wants to recover, and I like because what happens is I think even though majority of us are out of our the homes, we're of our moms, and such, um we are still perpetuating kind of like that abuse, like how many of us are so hard on ourselves or beat up on ourselves or have such a negative attitude and mindset about ourselves, and we torture ourselves continuously, and I know I've dealt with that and been dealing with that and grappling with that for years. And I've tried to do everything I can, like on a spiritual level and emotional level and things. And those have definitely helped for sure. Like, but I still have been struggling to kind of like get over, I feel like that hump of like, okay, but how do I actually believe and not just kind of feel like I keep kind of medicating myself through this poor sense of self that I have. And NeuroGym, I feel like, has been really providing me that actual answer. I think that, and so something that I really want to encourage you in is to explore the neurological effects that happen, but particularly how we can, the changes that we can recover. So anyway, so the whole neurological thing, I think what's been fascinating is to discover that like, from such a young age, we develop these, thoughts, of course, and how like we repeat those thoughts to ourselves over and over and over and over again on a subconscious level or whatever, like if our mom, like I just remember, for example, for me, like one of the things I remember from being like 6 years old, even is my mom talking about how big I was, because I was always a tall girl. I was always the tallest one in my class and things like that, like all through junior high or all through elementary and like high school and stuff. And my mom talking about how big boned I was or how big I was. Like that the word big just kept being put into my brain over and over and over again, and I carried that and I believed it and I lived it and I kept thinking through it over and over and stuff. And um, and it was so and so of course like I just kind of didn't, and I'm getting better at it, but I didn't take care of myself as much physically. I didn't keep up with my, I didn't take care of my health as much, like, because I slumped and, all that kind of stuff because I believed that over and over again. So this neurological, you know, pathway in my brain has just been developed over these years, But the thing is that's amazing and fascinating about the brain is that you can change your thoughts. You can change your mindset. You can change and how that affects then you emotionally and spiritually and physically and everything, is amazing, And so with this neurogen program and such, it's oriented and geared towards business, but actually they also do have like a weight loss program or whatever. But like, they do things like they have this kind of like audio sounding like audio sessions that you listen to. And what it does is it has these different kinds of sounds and things that actually stimulate the brain to kind of open it up to kind of like change or to be receptive to believing new thoughts, and then there's affirmations that you say, but also affirmations that also they play through these audio sessions and things like that. And all it's doing is just opening your brain up to receive and hear positive messages and messages that definitely confront, I think, those other messages of like, not that they're like, that say, like you can believe in yourself, that you can that you do value your health, that you are content and comfortable with who you are and where you're at, and things like that. And it's fascinating how that subliminal messaging can actually help you to start to change the way you react to like, or it's been helping me change the way I react, to like food or to things that normally used to bother me that don't bother me so much anymore, like things that, comments or being like on watching something on TV and you see this perfect model looking person, of like, it doesn't affect me as much, that I look in the mirror and I'm like, wow, I think I feel good, and it all is, so much of it is in our brains, and trickles down into our hearts and minds, and and that our emotions are really more like signals of what is going on in our brains, these thoughts that we have, and that like you can take your emotions as signals that stop you and go, wait, I'm feeling crappy again. What am I thinking about? Why am I thinking the way I do? And to then stop and be mindful of that and go, okay, how am I going to deal with that? How am I going to work through that? Do I really believe that thought? Do I really like, how does this thought that I have like hurt me, or hurt my chances or hurt my health or whatever, and it's been absolutely incredibly healing and transformational for me to have this going through my life, because I know, for example, like that I do not want to always identify myself as the daughter of an untreated borderline, because that's not fair to me, and on some level it's not even fair, I feel like, even to my mom. Like, I know my mom's untreated, I know she's choosing to be, but it's also her choice. And I don't want to spend my entire life like thinking about her with this instant sense of bitterness. Like, I want to be able to go, you know what, this is who she is, and it's, but there's also good things about her too, and I want to be able to have that kind of a mindset where it's like I forgive and release her, and and stuff, and not hold on to that bitterness, because I know that bitterness is my mindset, and that bitterness is holding me back and hurting me, and stuff. Um, and then, of course, for me too, like, I don't want to identify myself or go through life every day identifying myself as this victim, you know, um, and this person who's held back, or a person who's holding herself back, like, I want my mind to see me as me, this, beautiful, um, talented, loving, caring, person who has a lot of health and a lot to give to the world and can give to the world regardless of her past, and stuff. And who can be a light to people and an inspiration and things like that. I mean, that's what's in all of us, and stuff. But the problem is that a lot of times our mindset, it has just really, um, it's our mindset, it's our thoughts that are overriding that in us, and blinding us from those truths. And I think that that's what I love about neurogym is helping me to open up and to kind of identify these thoughts. And I'm like, are these thoughts true about me? It's like, no, I know that the things that I was taught, and I know that the things that my mom taught me, or things that I absorbed from other people that was not healthy, um, is not true, and is not a belief that I want to carry in my life, because I see how it hurts me. It hurts my relationships. It hurts the people around me. Like, it's holding me back, as opposed to helping me just move forward and enjoy life and be free and peaceful, and love people well, and love myself well, and such. And so, so anyway, so yeah, so there's I know that for all of us, like, there are completely moments where we feel really hopeless or helpless to our brains and to our hearts, of like, in our and what we're experiencing, because we're re traumatizing ourselves, or we're continuing to live out kind of like that abuse that we went through. And I just want to give you guys that tip, that if you are still struggling, and in therapy, and and spiritual programs or things like that are helping, but they're not maybe like completely, and you're looking for other solutions too, like me, um, is to check out maybe some of these, brain training programs, and to give them a shot. Because what I'm really learning, because I really wanted to tap in, like I said, into that scientific biological level of like, why do we operate on this level? Like, why am I continuing to perpetuate these thoughts and feelings in myself? I want to change. A lot of other people don't change. Why? I know I can change. Like, how can I do that? And I'm really learning. It's this daily discipline of changing my thoughts every day, And so what I do is every morning I spend time listening to this kind of like audio session, that frees up my mind a bit, and helps me to absorb these different beliefs. I feel those beliefs. I don't just listen, but I actually feel them. Like, I kind of, either it's not necessarily I'm pretending, but I'm tapping into those feelings deep inside of me that I know are true. That I am beautiful as I am, that I am a loving person. I am deserving to be loved. That I am a healed person. That I'm like, I know she's in there, and I tap into that person through these like kind of audio sessions. But I also spend time reading out loud these affirmations, and really tapping into, I do believe these things. I do believe these things. Okay, so maybe I don't believe them as much as I believe these negative thoughts about me, but I keep going after those thoughts again and again and again and again, every day, as a discipline. And I'm starting to see like how, these positive thoughts are starting to, I'm starting to believe them a bit more than these negative thoughts, and there's kind of this shift happening. And it's coming out through my actions. Then it's coming out through my emotions. I wake up now, I've been doing this kind of like brain retraining program for, I think, 3 months now. And I have, I think, 50% less of my mornings I wake up with dread. I have 50% more mornings I wake up with more peace and content and ease, and things that come at me that I used to react to so much more emotionally, or beat up on myself so much more. I don't anymore, and things like that. And it's been just, so good. It's been so healthy. Like, I'm tapping into, like, I'm really able to tap a bit more into that feeling that I think we all have, for those of us who watch these videos, which is that like I can change, I can get healthier. And I feel like it's just kind of helping me to like be more empowered to believe that and to do it, which has been incredibly cool, and to go like, wow, I can overcome this abusive past and inhabit myself. Like I can be there for people in a way that I know that they need. I can shine and express my light and myself better and stuff. And it's been incredibly helpful. So, yeah, so Neuro Gym, of course, I completely endorse. If it's not something that you want to do, I totally understand. But there, I think, are other brain retraining programs out there. But consider that as part of, yeah, maybe something to explore in your own need to heal and such. I know some people think like it's brainwashing, but yeah, I definitely don't experience it that way. I think that everything that I read and listen to and see when it comes to all those affirmations, are all things that I want to believe, because they are things that I deep down believe in myself and believe and know about myself. But the thing is that I just have all this toxic, abusive thoughts that I grew up with, that I, developed, but also inherited whatever from my family. I just layered on top of it. And I'm just trying to get rid of those layers. That's all I'm doing, so that I can just live my life. And I'm finally figuring out how, like, that it's not as much about trying to erase those things from my life, but learning to sidestep them, because I believe more in these positive things than I do in these negative things. And so it's just really retraining your brain to believe more in the positive and less in the negative, and to realize that, like, oh, this was such one of the coolest things I learned from this whole program, is that like fear and insecurities and the crappy thoughts are always going to be there. They're always going to be a part of your life. It's not about eliminating those things. It's about learning to take power out of them and let them be, and go, okay, so like, for example, like in the mornings when I still do feel that dread that I wake up with, and I think through all the things that I'm still struggling with, I've learned to let myself kind of like kind of just like take a step back and observe that and be like, okay, my negative mindset, my old mindset, is plaguing me again this morning. And I'm like, okay, why? Okay, well, first off, I woke up too early. So I probably haven't gotten enough sleep. So physically, I need a little bit more sleep, and oh shoot, I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry. um, but like, okay, so yeah, so okay, I'm tired. Okay, so I'm like, okay, so first off, I'm not gonna let myself believe these thoughts. Like, these thoughts are running. I get it. It's because I'm tired. So what do I need to do? Like, like, give myself a little grace here. But I've also like kind of taken that old mindset and those negative thoughts that start to plague me, in the mornings, and kind of look at it like me as a little girl who's like kind of throwing a temper tantrum, like, is it's just a little child who's like, I'm scared, like things are not gonna work out and things are gonna be rough, and to kind of be able to get to look at those thoughts and go, okay, so this is how I'm feeling. I get that. But there are so many great positive perspectives and mindset that I can totally have right now about my life. And I do have about my life. So it's my choice. What do I want to choose today? Do I want to choose to identify with her, or do I want to choose to identify with the more mature April, who realizes that there's a lot of options and opportunities, who sees that there's a lot of greatness in the world, who wants to live a life that is great, a life that is positive, a life that is healthy? Like, what do I want to focus on today? Because if I focus on her, crying temper tantrum April, who's afraid and insecure, I'm just going to keep living that out, or am I going to choose this instead? And so I've been learning that, like, I can choose her, I can choose that thought, I can choose that mindset. And at first and of course, like, there's sometimes I choose this mindset of the positive, and it's great for an hour and then I'm back to her again, the negative. um but I keep showing up every day, and I feel like not, it's not even every day, but maybe every, even sometimes every few weeks, like, all of a sudden, like, it's just a lot easier to be more positive and to choose more positive thinking and more healthy thoughts and stuff like that, versus the negative and my old thought patterns and old ways. And so, it's been incredibly healing. It's incredibly transformational, and it's absolutely fascinating when you start to kind of study how you can actually retrain your brain. And when you retrain your brain, like, everything else it just kind of trickles down: the health, the emotions, the physical. I'm not as stressed as I used to be. When things come at me, I can be more positive and confident. I don't beat up on myself like I used to, as much anymore. And I'm being what I wanted to be, all along, and oh, I love it. I really do. And so I want to give you that encouragement as well. So anyway, I hope you have a good day. Thanks.